Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about the unsolved murder of Candice Bobb. But before we get into it, I just wanted to remind you to follow me on all socials. All the links will be in the description box down below. Okay, so on the night of May 15th, 2016, Candice Bobb, a mother of two boys, ages 12 and 16, was currently pregnant with her third child, another boy. She was 5 months pregnant. She was at home planning her baby shower, and she decided to attend the basketball game that her boyfriend was playing in. So she was living in Malton, Ontario at the time, and it was her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's cousin. They also had to go pick up another friend who lived in Jamestown, which is in the Etobicoke area, so probably about a 20-minute drive from where they lived. And so they got into the car, headed to Jamestown to pick the friend up. This was about 8 p.m. They then drove to Scarborough, Ontario, which is probably about another 25-30-minute drive, depending on traffic, where the game was. By 11 p.m., the game was over, and they decided to head back to Jamestown to drop the friend off and then head back to Malton. So they arrived in the intersection of Jamestown Crescent and John Garland Boulevard, and as soon as they opened the door, the friend opened the door to get out. He didn't even get out of the car fully. He just opened the door, about to step out, and gunshots started to go off, hitting the car multiple times. And they were confused because as far as they know, they didn't have any beef with anybody in the area. The driver immediately sped off because Candice had been shot in the chest. There were 4 people in the car, but she was the only one that was shot in the chest. She was sitting in the back seat of the car. And it wouldn't make sense to stay there and call 911 because that was still a danger zone. And by the time the ambulance got there, it probably would have been too late anyways. So they rushed to Etobicoke General, which is the closest hospital in the area. And Candice was rushed into emergency surgery. Now, unfortunately, she had already passed at that point because she died shortly after receiving the gunshot wound. And the baby was born by emergency C-section, and he was born alive. But unfortunately, 3 weeks later, on June 5th, 2016, he also passed away. Because he was only 5 months, the lungs weren't properly developed, and we all know with premature babies, it's either hit or miss. So unfortunately, he passed away. And even though police were investigating and they were able to interview some witnesses, at the night or by the next day that were in the area, they didn't really get much from that. And they also recovered the casings from the gun. Again, that's not much help unless they have the gun to match the casings too. We're in 2021 and the case still remains unsolved. Now, I will be linking the video of the mother and sister who did a press conference, in 2016. If you happen to be watching this video and you get to that part, and it's muted, it's because it was copyrighted and I had to mute it. So there are a lot of theories in regards to this case. Number one was Candice was targeted. This one I don't really believe because it's not like they went up specifically to Candice, went up to the car and shot her specifically. They were just randomly shooting, and whoever got shot, got shot. It was just by coincidence she got shot. And police don't really believe this theory either. The second one was someone else in the car was targeted. That's a possibility because the friend that was living in Jamestown, maybe he had beef with someone, I don't know. But the police don't believe this theory as well because nobody in the car had any criminal records or have ever been in contact with police or anything like that. They were all working citizens, law-abiding citizens. So police don't really believe that theory as well. And going back to where they were saying that Candice was the intended target, she didn't have any ties to that community. She was only there because her boyfriend went to drop off the teammate or the friend. And you're not friends with everybody that your partner may be friends with. So that's why that theory isn't feasible in my opinion. The third theory was, and this one I'm more inclined to believe, was that this was a gang incident. They probably thought that once they saw the car pull up and did the U-turn, that maybe it was a rival gang coming to attack them. So they shot first. They didn't wait to see, you know, if the person was going to get out of the car or anything like that. They just randomly started shooting. And Jamestown is an area where it's been riddled with gang violence and shootings going as far back as I can remember. Now, in the same year that Candice was shot, 14-year-old Lesant Ross was also murdered about 4 feet away from where Candice was shot. There is also some other people that were murdered in that same time, or maybe not too far from 2016, but the names were Donald Beckles. He was a stay-at-home dad, and he was shot multiple times on the same street as Candice. There is also 15-year-old Jarvis Montague. He was killed during a shooting at the Jamestown housing complex, which is where Candice was. Now, this is why, you know, police think that when the car did the U-turn, that the gangs, whether it be one or multiple people, thought that it was a rival gang member. Now, this case remains unsolved. I think I've said that already. It's 2021. She died in 2016. Her boys have had to grow up without their mother for that long period of time. An innocent baby lost his life. And police at first took a while to confirm whether or not the suspect would be charged with the killing of baby Kyrie as well. Because in Canada, if the mother dies, you know, a pregnant woman dies, whoever the perpetrator is usually would not get charged with the crime of murdering the baby as well, because a baby isn't considered a person unless they're born. Kyrie was born, you know, emergency C-section. He was born alive, and even though he didn't survive, he was still born. So under the law, he is considered a person. So police finally, you know, got around the red tape and came around and said that whoever the suspect is or suspects, whenever they are caught, that he or she will be charged with the murder of Candice and baby Kyrie. Now, somebody always knows something. I always say that. Somebody always knows something, but no one ever talks. No one ever talks. And I guess this is gang code, street lingo, whatever, no snitching. But unless you were involved with the crime, that's not snitching. If you witness somebody doing something and you give that information to the police, that is not snitching. But what do I know? I didn't grow up in the streets. I don't live in the streets. The streets run by a different code. But an innocent mother lost her life. She didn't deserve this. Neither did her 2 sons. Neither did baby Kyrie. He didn't even get a chance to live life. So I will be posting the links to the authorities if you want to call to make an anonymous, you know, tip. You're free to do so. But I don't think the family deserves to still be suffering. Whoever this person is, if or when they're caught, they'll be probably sentenced to life, 25 to life or whatever. And they still have a chance to come out of jail and live their life, you know, which I don't think it's fair. But that's how our justice system works, you know. I'm the type of person, I'm an eye for an eye. If you kill my family member, I want you. But anyways, this is not about me. This is about Candice, her 2 boys, baby Kyrie, her 3 boys, and her family that still are suffering, still going through. At least if the person is caught, it will be some sort of closure, I guess. I don't really consider that closure because nothing is going to bring Candice back. But at least they will know who did it, and that person will be brought to justice. So I'll be linking their press conference right now. And if you're happen to be watching this and it's muted, it's because I was copyrighted and I had to mute that part of the video. But I will also post a link as well in the description box, so if you want to go watch that over there.
Thank you for being here. I'm Rochelle's mom. First off, our family would like to thank everyone for their prayers, well wishes, and continued support. It has been a very difficult year for all of us. We'd also like to thank the police for working tirelessly and trying to solve this case, and also to the media for keeping the story in the spotlight. We'd also like to mention and to thank the person who paid for the headstone, and they wish to remain anonymous, so we'd like to really thank them for that. Rochelle was a young mother who was brutally gunned down, as Sergeant Carboni had said, a year ago on John Garland. And at the time, she was pregnant, and we lost baby Kyrie. He came into this world way too early and under extremely difficult circumstances. He didn't make it. Their death has been very difficult for us. It has left a void in our lives. Rochelle was the life of the family. She kept us all together. She's got a great sense of humor. We missed her laughter, we missed her smile, and we missed her beautiful, beautiful hazel eyes. She left behind 2 boys, and they missed their mom every minute of the day. We miss her dearly. We like to reach out to the public, to the members of the community of John Garland and Jamestown. We're asking for any information that you have, no matter how small the detail is. We're asking you to call Crime Stoppers, to go to your local police, to tell someone. We know someone in the neighborhood knows something, and we're asking each and every one to just search your heart. She could be your sister. She could be your daughter, your friend. We're pleading with the public to come forward. We need some answers. To the killer, we're asking you to turn yourself in. It has been a year, and you're out there enjoying life, and we've been handed a life sentence. We're still trying to come to grips with what happened and how you could have done something so senselessly. You don't deserve to have that freedom. We haven't been free in over a year. So we're asking you to get your lawyer and turn yourself in. If anyone knows anything, please, we're asking you to call Crime Stoppers or your local police. Thank you.